We good. All right. So this is the official AEW pay-per-view tier list for 2023, even though we are literally a week into the new year. I thought it was only right that I go back through all the AEW pay-per-views last year and, you know, see which ones were the best, which ones were the okay ones, which ones were the not so good ones. I did one for WWE. If you haven't checked it out, Um, so I'm gonna do one for AEW here today. So I hope you guys enjoy. And with that being said, let's get into it. Actually, let me make this disclaimer real quick. World's End is not in this picture. I did not make this tier list. Someone else did. But AEW World's End is not in here. But we're just gonna have to pretend that it's in here. So with that being said, let's get started. The first pay per view obviously was AEW Revolution. And automatically, man, if I am going to choose which Pacific one I'm going to put this in, obviously you got to look back at not just the pay per view, but you got to look back at the matches in general that took place at the pay per view. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and based off the card, based off of what it went down, I'm going to say Revolution was a B pay per view. It was a really good pay per view. This was obviously headlined by the Iron Man match, which was really good. You had some other matches on this show. You had uh, Hangman Page and John Moxley in the Texas Death Match. You had Jungle Boy, Christian Cage, Ricky, Chris Jericho. So again, like I said, it was a pretty good show. I know the build was kind of the overall build for most of these matches were kind of mid heading into the show, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So next on the list we have AEW's Double or Nothing pay per view, and this actually took place on the same day that NXT had their own little pay per view. So I will put this on a B as well. And the reason why I'm putting this as B, I feel like outside of like, the main event, the four-way match with MJF and them, there was really nothing else. And then I know on the show you also had like, you had FTR on the show. You had Adam Cole, Chris Jericho. I wasn't really a big fan of their feud. And, Tony Storm defeating Jamie Hayter, which was about a 3-minute match. But this was still an overall like a really good pay per view. Like I don't want y'all to think just because I'm putting this in the A category that this wasn't a bad show. Like Double or Nothing was overall a really really good show. So now we're gonna move into AEW's Forbidden Door, and I'm putting this as an A. This was, I'm telling you, New Japan AEW, they went all out this year. Obviously, the two big matches, Bryan Danielson and Okada, which main evented the show. You also had Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega, which is one of the best put together matches in AEW of that year alone. You had, some other matches. Obviously, you had the multi-man, 10-man tag. I thought that was really good. You had freaking since Sonata and Jungle Boy with Jungle Boy or Jack Perry turning heel, which was somewhat needed to be done. And yeah, for the most part, I say it was a good show. If you're a fan of New Japan AEW, but now we move on to AEW's Wrestle Dream. Yeah, this was a good show as well. Actually, no, Wrestle Dream is not next. I want to make sure this is in order. All In is next. AEW All In. This is the biggest event in pro wrestling history. Granted, not exactly 80,000 fans were in attendance, but there was 70,000. Like, that's still like a lot. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna put AEW All in London in the. I'll put in the A category. I thought it was a really really good show. I like I liked Osprey and Jericho. I thought that was match of the night. You had the Stadium Stampede match. I thought that was pretty good. FTR and the Young Bucks, that was pretty good. Six-man tag, that was pretty good. Ultimately, CM Punk's last match in AEW against Samoa Joe, that match was pretty good. The main event was okay, I thought. And of course you had the House Rules match. Um, but yeah, it was overall an enjoyable show, and obviously, the people loved it. AEW loved it because they're doing it again. So next you had AEW's All Out. This was literally the week after the pay per view, and I will also put this in the A category because this was also a good show, a really really good show. And what's crazy about this show, like this was a week after their quote unquote biggest event of the year, and it's like, now how are they going to put a lot of stock into All Out? And they managed to make it that, especially even with the news that CM Punk had gotten fired because the news had literally came out like literally like week or prior, whatever. It you thought that okay, like this is bad because now people are gonna be rioting for CM Punk, but instead they managed to not do that. Like you had freaking you had Luchasaurus, Darby, you had Danielson, Ricky Starks on the show. You had Takeshita and Kenny Omega, incredible match. You had the main event, John Moxley, Orange Cassidy for the International Championship. That was really good. So overall, just really enjoyable matches on this show, considering that this took place literally the week after the AEW All In pay per view. So kudos to them for being able to make that happen. But now we get into Wrestle Dream, and yeah, I thought Wrestle Dream was a good show for the most part. Swerve Hangman, that was definitely really good. FTR and Aussie Open, that was really good. And Christian Cage, Darby Allin, the debut of Adam Copeland, Edge, that was pretty cool. Obviously, if you are a big fan of technical wrestling, you were dying at Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. going at it, which was a dream match in many fans' eyes for years. So yeah, just a overall just another enjoyable show, and yeah, just really really good. We got Full Gear on here. Oh, this is definitely going in the A category. Full Gear, Full Gear was incredible, man. That like Hangman Swerve. I don't even need to go into it. Pay per view. It had Will Ospreay make his announcing he signed with the company. The six-man tag was really good on this show. Uh, yeah, man, this was overall really, really, really good show. Like this, even the Golden Jets and the Bucks had a good match, and I was just like, wow, like I can't really find like really any bad match that took place on the show. Like I honestly, I think Full Gear was probably their best show. If I'm being like honest with you, like they were all good pay per views for the most part, but like if I had to pick one with the game on the line, I'm picking Full Gear probably as their best show. And AEW World's End is not on here, but again, we're just gonna have to pretend we're gonna have to imagine. But I'm putting it in the C category. AEW World's End definitely was a. It wasn't. It was definitely It wasn't your typical AEW pay per view. Typically coming out of these shows, you're like your mind is blown away by how good uh the pay per view was, but obviously World's End, it really came off as like a weekend. It was really the one of the weak AEW pay per views, and I mean you had some good stuff. Like I thought the 8-man tag was good. Uh I thought freaking Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, that was match of the night. You know, and then even Samoa Joe and MJF, I thought that was a fine dandy main event. But like again, you look at the book and stuff like again, it's just like with the whole Chris Jericho situation, that match wasn't really it. I wasn't really a big fan of Swerve going 9 minutes with Dustin when he should have just squashed Dustin in like two. Tony and Rio, like the women matches, I wasn't really feeling it, and that was pretty much it. So like, World's End, And then again, it's like AEW when it comes to how they book certain stuff in the storylines. That can also play a key factor into it as well. But with that being said, that has been my official AEW pay per view tier list for 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know which was your best AEW pay per views of the year. Which ones were your least not? Let me know in the comments. And yeah.